Hey guys, I'm Chris. Um, and now that we got the reveal season rolling for Guilty Gear Strive, I wanted to go look at the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles set. I feel like we do a lot of uh, looking at these cards as soon as they come out, and not enough looking at them, you know, after the fact, right? After we've dealt with them, right? We've seen them in a couple of tournaments so far, and I wanted to get my thoughts on them and what went right, what went well, what works, and maybe do a little thinking about future sets. But right off the bat, I think we're going to take over the characters. Then we're going to do at the non-attack cards, non-attack, non-foundation cards, then the attacks and the foundations. So I'll put those in the description. So if you are only interested in looking at a certain subset of the game, you can hit those there. Anyway, getting right into the characters. First off, we got April O'Neil, high school reporter. She's a six-hander with 27 health. She says your checks to play ally attack cards get +1. This is a line of text I've literally never thought about, which is so funny because I have seen her played, and I thought she was interesting by herself, right? Since she's functionally got, she's playing with 3 and 4 difficulty attacks instead of 4 and 5 difficulty attacks a lot of the time. But I think what ends up happening is she's pigeonholed into these ally cards, and she's very cool. She's an excellent locals character, I think, but because of the inconsistency of her enhance, she doesn't get enough value, right? It's like a Shigaraki without the ultimate turn. Shigaraki 3, I guess. Who ironically is a lot less good now because there's so many 6 chicks in the format. But yeah, this is a character that didn't make a splash in tournament play, I don't think. But I think that it's a really cool locals character because of the randomness. And I honestly, I remember when it first came out, it was people pinged me and like, oh, it's Faye again, it's Faye, and I read it and I was like, I get what you're saying, but it's not so interesting to me. And it's funny that she has the inverse to Shigaraki. She should prey on somebody who's playing a lot of 6 checks, but with no way to really buff your opponent's checks, or neg them, right? The specific checks, or do it consistently and do it in a way that really matters, especially since it looks for it's not an actual check that they're making. She says mill them and then look at the check value. There's not a lot. You're just dealing with what they milled, and there's no modification of it. And so this is a character I think suffered from not having a full set of support for her, right? Which is something that is par for the course, unfortunately, since the first Attack on Titan set. But yeah, I think she's cool. Bebop. This is one of the 2 guys I remember being really cool in the pre-release format. Not that I played that, but I heard people talking about it. He says, once per turn, add the top card of each player's deck to their card pool face down. That's both my turn, your turn. And then enhance if you have 3 or more cards in your card pool. This attack gets +3 or -1 damage. So, burly, brawly, 6-hander. That's it. That's honestly it. It's like Mineta, sort of, right? Without the real juice that he gets, and also the enhance, the top enhance is like, I don't know. I don't think he's a competitive character. I think that you could probably make a deck that works for him again, but yeah, he's just kind of restrained and uninteresting to me. Bishop 722 with the inventor keyword, because that matters. It says enhances deck gets 1 speed for every 4 cards in your stage. Kind of cool. It's like the big stupid punch. And the response once per turn if you check an asset with printed difficulty 3 or less built in. I remember people going kind of nuts for this one when on release, and it didn't end up making a splash. Just because there's, unlike with Cassandra did in the Soul Calibur Libra of Souls set, there's not a ton of ways to make checks in general. So I think people were brewing this and they were excited for the response and making this cool big stage and making really fast attacks. There's no defense on her face, and unlike Cassandra, who had a really broken asset and the advantage of having 3 very, very powerful symbols for defense, This character's on Evil and Void, which are two symbols that didn't get a lot of love, have not gotten a lot of love for the past 2 years. So I think that this is just like a powerful character offensively, but is a 722 with not a lot of defense. So Donatello, this is one I know that made a splash in Toronto, and people were kind of hyped about playing it. Enough said about it, right? Assets are good. You got a bunch of cards that double as assets now, and just having a 7-hander with 23 life that that can put this huge amount of damage on things is pretty good. So yeah, this is probably the most successful character out of this set is this Donatello, which is funny because I think they're probably terrible in the like environment that this was designed for, the pre-release environment. But yeah, Leatherhead, your expat, mutant, first form, add the top card of your rival's deck to their card pool face down. If they have 10 or more foundations, add the top 2 cards of their deck to their card pool face down instead. Yeah, I mean, Mineta type stuff offensively, right? There's a lot of this card pool flooding. I was kind of like hyped for it because there's been a lot of card pool clearing going on, but it hasn't been making a splash at all. Like, it hasn't been doing much of anything really. And have I been disappointed about that? No, because I play a card pool clearing character. But it just hasn't been present as some people thought it might have been. His other ability is guard a card after attack is not blocked, gets +1 or -1 damage for each card in your rival's card pool. So I think this is a good character for what it's worth. It's just people aren't playing it. I think that it's just like he's a scaling 6-hander, and there's better things you could be doing in the format right now. Like, you know, he needs to scale. He needs multiple turns, probably 2 or 3 turns. No defense on face. I guess like the response is definitely defense on face, but you gotta have cards in hand as a 6-hander. He's on 2 weird symbols for the format. Like, fire isn't doing this thing, water isn't doing anything because it's it hasn't had full sets of support until this set specifically. So maybe in the future if there's just like a ton of card draw, and he gets more interaction on the opponent's turn. But for right now, it's like you're getting a total of maybe 7 extra health, right? You can get 7 extra health by not blocking anything for the turn, because you discard on the first one for -1 damage, discard on the second one for -2 damage, and discard on the third one for -3 damage. 3 plus not 6, -6 damage. So like, it's not nothing, but you're probably discarding on the third and fourth moves, not the first 2, right? Because you want to at least pretend you're going to block. Anyway, I don't know what I'm talking about. He's not very good. Leonardo, after an attack is blocked, look at the top card of your deck. You may commit this card. If you do, draw 1 card, otherwise you may mill 1. And then response, after you mill 1 or more cards, this attack, your next attack is +1 damage. And so this is the thing about the symbols that we actually see, is that the support for these characters, because they only have the subset of symbols for this set, their stuff is better in older things than older things are good for them. So Leonardo's a very interesting 6-hander, right? He's got this scout, right? Offensively and defensively. But like, the deal with is he's just getting like very marginal value out of it. And so his stuff ends up being put, I say his stuff, there's no real support for it, but yeah, not a good character. Probably not even fun locally, because he's got like an incremental advantage thing. This is a type of character that you would look at, and then you look at like a peak, and you'd be like, what the hell am I doing? Like, why am I playing Leonardo when I could be playing Peak? And yeah, so that's unfortunate. I wish he was fun. I wish he was at least fun. But the problem is that, like, you want to commit him to draw, and then the other ability doesn't work. So you're not even getting your incremental value over the course of the turn, because you're gonna be drawing. You're gonna be doing that response. I think that should have been, like, they should have found some way to make the top response like you stay ready even after you draw, and you could only draw once per turn. But I think that not enough effort was put into that character. Mega Mutant, Giant Mutant 633. If they play an attack, it gets 1/1 for each ally in your card pool. I mean, it didn't make a splash, guys. I don't know. It's another one of those, people were like, oh, it's like Jiro. It's not. Metalhead, protect your mutants. Once per turn after you take a damage, your rival discards 1 card. Flip 1 rival foundation. Increase the keyword rating of the next keyword you play this turn by 1. That enhance is cool because it goes across the turn. So this is I think this was a deck I saw in my locals once, and I was like, this is cute. And I think would have been like neat for PTCs back in the day because you can do like cool 5-hander things, but it's a locals deck character. Locals character. Michelangelo the wild card. If your attack is blocked, your next kick pizza or much attack gets 3 speed. And then enhance rival's turn. Commit, add 1 ready foundation from each player stage they're in. I remember this being one that I was like, Tim Keith is going to love this. And I think he did. So I think it's like a fine character. Just we didn't see him used. This is going to be the case for a lot of. I mean, I know we're already here, but pretty much every character is going to be like, this is a cool locals deck, just because they're. And it's interesting because they all have like the cranked new health totals, but their abilities are like the Connies and Jeans of the Attack on Titan set, and not the Peaks, the Reiners. The stats aren't there, and like I don't know, new VS, right? UVS games has been very stats pilled, and so it's interesting how measured this stuff is. Raphael, this is the +1 or -1 speed for each attack in your card pool, and then you can discard your hand to give an attack +4 damage. I know this one topped in Australia, but like this is a locals character again. He's like, you can go for that impulse draw thing, and I remember being really upset at this card specifically because I could feel the Magic designer coming onto this and being like, fire is red has impulse draw, and that's all of the like pseudo support for Raphael is just impulse draw, and if you don't know what impulse draw is, it's when you remove the top of your deck and you get to play it for turn until the end of the turn, or then until the end of the next turn. And I think that 1-to-1s like that from Magic just shouldn't exist. Fire's drawing cards. Fire is drawn cards forever, just like every other symbol. We just don't follow the rules for drawing cards. And if you're taking your preconceived notions from a previous game, right? Like, you should take your design philosophies, but not the philosophies of the game, right? Like, should I push the game? Should I pull the game? Different designers should have different philosophies. But taking wholesale the design like rules is something that's super cringe to me. And I felt it with this guy. And I break my rule because I said I was not going to comment on design anymore. I don't want to anymore, but that one really upset me. Rocksteady, easily angered, brute mutant, enhance your charge rate. This is the big damage guy? Yeah, this is the big damage guy. 5 damage is a lot, but +1 difficulty for the rest of the turn was also a lot. At the end of your combat phase, if you have 6 more cards in your card pool, flip 1 non-character on your rival stage. This is like a super measured character, which is so crazy because 5 damage is so much. But you figure that this is probably going to be like a throw character, which is what I remember him being in the pre-release and like sealed pools, where people are just playing all the big fast moves. Or you could play weenies with 5 damage on them, right? But there's not enough ways to like manipulate the card pool, and he's just not good. He's just not good enough. They put a lot of like checks for this character. 6 cards in your own card pool is a lot, right? You have to attack 3 times to get there, or like attack twice and build 2, right? And it's just not super good. You're overcommitting. Splinter, man, I liked Splinter. He's so cool. And also, he's voiced by Jackie Chan. But he had to change his attack speed and damage to the printed speed and damage of one of their card in the card pool, which is tenacious, which is kind of cool. And then on a rival turn, he could ready 2 foundations. He's a really versatile character. I was surprised nobody picked it up. I mean, I could have picked it up, I guess, but I wasn't playing in the events this season. Yeah, I think he's good. I think this character is somebody who scales with the power of the foundations in the format, and the first enhance is just good. I understand that it's one other attack on the card pool. That's the only thing that it's like it should be able to be used if somebody's just chucking one attack, right? But I get that it's supposed to be like I'm teaching here. This is one of the few ones where like I feel like I get the vibe, you know, of the what he's doing. The Ready 2 Foundations thing, I'm not quite sure. I mean, it's just like a good ability, but yeah. Superfly. This is the what's it, the actions, this the like schemes. Yeah, he's the one who goes to schemes. After you take damage, add one scheme from your discard pile to your card pool. This card cannot be cleared from the card pool this turn. Then this deck is minus X or plus X damage, minus X speed or plus X damage, X equals number of foundations committed to pass this check. Yeah, again, very measured, right? Amajiki was getting X plus 1, right? And the thing is, that's the problem. Is somebody could just pass their check, right? And if they just pass their check, you get nothing. You get actually nothing out of it. So for the first move or second move, or sometimes God forbid the third move, if you're playing into Porco and he's playing his guys on 5s, like your enhanced is nothing. And so I think that this guy is just kind of like, he's the scheme dude, right? He's like, haha, I get to do the cool scheme thing. And he's gonna forever be like if you really want to play schemes, you play this guy, but that's like your casual deck. Then the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, these are just the guys that say, hey, you're gonna, if you check a 3 or less, you check a 4. So you could do cool things with 1s and 2 checks. He's got all of the keywords for the set, which, pretty good. He's also got 4 symbols, but he's a 4-hander, right? So he's gonna wait around for like, I don't know, 2 or 3 years. He's gonna wait for UVS to start printing good 1 and 2 checks that are better than 3 checks, and that's just not the case right now. 3 checks are just better than 1s and 2s. There's no trade-off. Wingnut. I've never read this guy. Change this attack zone to high. It gets plus or minus in speed once per turn. Okay. After your attack deals damage, choose 1, build 1 tech card with difficulty 3 or less from your hand. Seal 1 rival foundation. Seal the foundation again at the beginning of your rival's turn. Okay. I mean, I get the Wingnut attack now, because it wants to look for a sealed card. He sucks. I don't know. And then the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles retro one. This is the also Jiro. Yeah, I mean, like as a retrospective on these guys, I don't think anybody was wrong about anybody but Donatello, in like a positive way. Donatello is the guy that kind of surprised people. But like even reading this, like, duh, plus 1 damage for assets. Assets deck has been very good for a while now, and I think people are sleeping on Splinter, but like I have done no effort, so who can I say about it? I'll go on to the non-attack non-foundations. Mike is Nunchaku. I've never seen this card before in my life. Leo's Katana. I have seen that card. It's got the 1 mid block. I mean, they all have 1+ blocks, I think. And then here's the elusive. So we've seen a lot of these. Cammy I've seen. I've seen Genghis Frog. This is in Pony decks, right? And this is a card that people are playing across the board, right? In decks that need damage. And that's interesting. You trade off like a turn because it's a 5 difficulty, or you find some way to build it in. More likely you play it with Hunter's Ally. Yeah. Genghis Frog is probably the biggest winner of the set, but I think that Ray Fillet is one that I thought was going to be in more decks and ended up being nowhere. I haven't seen it in pretty much anything. I thought 1 speed was going to be, crazy on every single move, right? Scaling 1 speed, but yeah, we saw Massive Mutant Machine seeing play, and not much Mongo Gecko. I like Mondo Gecko. I also like Splinter. Yeah, it's like I think I saw Splinter in a couple of Midoriya decks. I think I saw him also playing a Ray Fillet maybe, but no, he definitely wasn't. What was he playing? I don't know who he was playing. Maybe Cammy? Maybe? Flip a Rival Foundation? I don't know, man. Anyway, apart from that, I have not seen anybody actually try to play the equipment heist thing, which is probably because they changed the unique rules. Exterminate mutants. also haven't seen, which I thought this one was going to be nuts. Donnie's Boat Staff. I think I have seen in a couple different places. Mechazoids didn't make the splash I thought they would. Yeah, I don't have much to talk about, guys. I thought that the elusive was going to be more of a problem than it is. It's not really a problem. It's just really annoying. And then, yeah, pretty much. The attacks. Yeah, I don't. It's like there's a couple good uncommon guys and a couple good URs, and then a gulf in between, right? Which is interesting because this isn't like it wasn't pitched as a drafting set, but I know people were butt mad about the you can't block move with Besiege. I don't think that made as much of a splash as people thought it would. Momentum shift, increased velocity. I remember this one. I thought it was going to be cool. 4 difficulty 5 mid 3 that gets a bunch of speed and damage. But it's like a 4 diff. I think that's the reason, right? Is that this is an air card that cares about cards in the card pool, and air's thing right now is really about clearing the card pool. Hank 10's a lot of funny decks. That one's like a neat one. You see it in Rodan. You see it in Midoriya sometimes. I know. I saw one posted one with a Mothra deck was playing Hank 10. I thought that was cool. I like these random like low attack guys, and then there were a bunch of these cards that when you block with them flip the opponent's move. There was one more I saw that I thought was cool. Add 1 ally attack, print 54, less for you to scrap out your hand. 6 diff, didn't do anything. Special report, 3 difficulty as this deck deals damage when card from the discard pile to the top of its owner's deck. See, it's just like a fair move. It's nothing crazy. That gets +1 difficulty for every other card in your hand. I thought this was going to be crazy. It turns out it's not all that great. At least not the thing that I thought it was going to be. But I think it's going to sit around and wait for somebody to have like a healed by a shaman type effect. Or like specifically what I was thinking was Heaven and Hell or something like that. There's a new card that says show your opponent an attack and pick up an attack from your discard pile that is the same name. And you could just be like, well, I've discarded everything except for my 1 Stomp Through Town. I'll play this guy on 2 plus my card pool, 2 plus my card pool, and then 1 plus my card pool for finisher. But it's a lot of thought and energy for an attack that's just a cheap 4 mid 4. And like, whatever. It could be cool also in decks that look at not printed difficulty, I guess. Channel, this one was whatever. Destructive entrance, not good. Maximum fall through, reciprocate, Roadhog, smash through. Yeah, it's just a bunch of chaff, guys. Chucking cars, I remember, was the funniest name for an attack. I'm sure somebody was cooking, but 6 difficulty for basically something that is worse than Lunar Ring is a choice. Yeah, it's just not good. Mollywop. Rebuilt Forces, Superfly Stomp. I have seen. This one I played in Elder Jiguro. It's a nice little workhorse. In a Tog, I know was in that Raft deck. And yeah. Pizza cards. The pizza card is so interesting because like you could tell they were having fun, but like we didn't actually get like the actual atmosphere. Like this could have been like a cool win condition on like an asset or something, right? Like let's make a pizza party, but instead it's like a shitty offense card that requires you to build, and it also has a max. Like, yeah, I don't know. Whoever, the design for the set is timid. It's just timid. I thought setting the standard was really cool, but again, it's timid, right? Like, this is the opener. You set this to 5, and you set it to 0 speed, right? Of each attack. You just say, hey, all my stuff is 5 speed. Then that's a cracked UR. Because by default, people have to now start committing foundations to block. But if you're making your opener, right, it's not doing anything. It could have been the coolest 1x in every good deck. Not that anyone's playing good, but I think it's cool. I think it's a cool move. But I think, again, it's timid. I know there's the one... Not Mikazoid Onslaught. That one's cool, though. Wingnut Sabotage. This is the one that I was really annoyed with. And it is, in fact, annoying. It's just crazy in Midoriya. It's played in things like Rodan. But the problem is it's not, like, killing anybody. Unless you're one of those characters that get a lot of damage onto it. Woo! But, yeah. I dislike it. I dislike being told no. And in a not like interactive way. You're not allowed to interact with this move. And it says you can't interact. Not like, hey, man, I'm going to press this button. You better tell me what to do. It just says, no, you're not allowed to touch this. So you seal it, or you don't get to touch their stuff for the turn. And, like, yeah, I mean, it's not on, like, a big dunk move, which is what you'd expect this ability to be on. So it just ends up being, like, a setup thing. But you see it in Midoriya. It becomes the dunk move. That just says, hey, stop interacting with my stuff. Your board doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you're trying to do. And I don't like that. I don't like that that's the direction they're going for. This is so fun. I love high 3. I wish it were played more. But again, I would have preferred like a 9 diff with the 9 there, right? High 3. That would have been like, this is such a cool idea, and then it's very timid. Anyway, stuff like Wingnut Sabotage, cranked. Stuff like high 3, make those better. Why isn't the fun stuff better and the obnoxious stuff worse? Is how I feel about that. Then from Foundations, I thought that the Foundations were by and large pretty good. I thought somebody was cooking. I thought somebody, and I'll actually go through these because some of them are okay, some of them are not. After you play this card, look at the top card of your deck, commit the stick is +2 -2 speed. This is a good card. It's got a 2 low block. This is just good. It's something that says, I do something on play for my first turn build. It has a good block, and then it flexes offensively and defensively. I just think it's a good card. It's outperformed by a lot of spam for certain, but it's just a good spam, or just a good foundation, right? It's a good 2 diff. I'm a fan of it. Catching Air, I'm also a fan of that one. You can see it's in this deck here. This is my Akasa deck. I don't know how to turn this off. Sorry. And then when this card is added to your hand from stage, this deck gets +2 or -2 speed. Enhance discard a card, add this card to your hand. Daredevil, same way. Above the City is cool, right? But like, it's a one-off thing. You have to discard a card to pick up the thing. Why doesn't it have a better block? I'm trading this card, and like, I always feel like we put the bad blocks on the cards that should have good blocks, and good blocks on the cards that should have bad blocks. I have to play a whole deck slot for Daredevil, which is a cool card, right? You could, right? This could be a 1 mid block, and I'd be happy, right? I know, like, you're saying, oh, it's functionally a 1 mid block because it gives -2, haha, +2 or minus. It's a two-way thing, but it's not how it works, because it's also the fact that you may have to hold this, right? Sometimes you don't want to just do the enhanced thing. And so your deck is worse for playing it. I would prefer it just said you may give this attack +2 speed and give it a 1 mid. Or even a 0, right? It's a card that does nothing but says, right, that can flex offensively, it can flex defensively, and it should be better. I think that attacks that are all out offensive should not have one lows though. If this attack deals damage, draw one card. This is a good one diff. We've seen 9 million versions of that thing. Scaling heights. Your attack with printed speed 5 or damage or greater gets 1 damage. If you have 11 more foundations, that gets 1 speed. It's whatever. You know? This is like... This would have been cool with my idea for the 5 diff that makes everything 5 speed. But even then you wouldn't play it. There's just a lot better things. Same for Hold On Tight, right? Like there's so many foundations that... One diff foundations that just say draw. So why would you play that when the options are? I mean, maybe you're on the air symbol, but even air is like, if you do the air thing, draw a card. If you do the death thing, draw a card. This is just like, I have to call my shot. And, yeah. Maybe you sacrifice this to pay the EX ability. This was a card back in the day with another ability. It's fine. There's a lot of ways to sing momentum, so it's not worth it. Even now with, like, the Roman cancels, no way. Swooping in, this is the one that I was scared of. I did get besieged with this, and I was not happy. I think that it's like I'm unhappy with it. That's all I've got to say. I'm unhappy with swooping in. I think that we shouldn't be making unblockable attacks. And by we, it doesn't really matter. If people really want to do that thing, I guess you got me, Jenkins. But I think that it's kind of silly. I think it's stupid to gate people from blocking. Just play the game. After you play a block, it gains breaker 1. I liked that one. This one's in my deck. You can see 4 of Ancient Secrets of Ninjutsu. Cool one. Clumsy Entrance. I haven't read this one before. If this is the first attack played this turn, add it to starter's hand. A card with the same name as the attack cannot be in the next form played this turn. It sounds cool in theory, and it's a flip. But your opponent gets all of their blitz moves twice. At response, it would have been good. And that's my notes. You remake this card as a response, it's cool. It's a good counter to like somebody going for like a setup opener. It would be like an actual disruption tool, but it's not a disruption tool because they've been pushing all of these blitz abilities. So you're just saying, I don't want to take damage from that move, but you're going to play another move instead into that. I don't know. I think it's a bad card, but with a good idea. But it's a bad card. Form flip. Look at the top card of your deck. You may mill 1. Yeah, it's worst version of a card that exists already. Don't use that word at the start of your combat phase. Name keyword ability. I mean, I don't like saying no. I understand that, like, hey, don't use that word, and like it's supposed to be cool, but I don't like it. I don't like it. Leonardo's. Whoa, could you use this to cancel or to say you can't use tension? I could see this seeing a lot more play if tension ends up being as powerful as I think it is. This could be very good because I think you have to play tension. I think tension is a played ability. I don't know. I'll have to ask. Leonardo's Discipline. This attack gets +X and +X damage. X equals number of copies of it in your discard pile +1. Okay. I would have liked discard pile or stage. Or just stage. It's weird. Martial knowledge. Like, I'm sure some designer like, oh, well, Leonardo likes destroying foundations. It's a 3 diff. After you rival plays an attack with printed difficulty 5 or greater, draw a card. Another 1 difficulty that's like no guarantee they're going to be doing it. It's cool. They probably will be doing a 5 difficulty or greater, but it could have just been a... Yeah, I don't know. 2 low block is cool, though. Stealth and Cunning. If this card is committed by rival attack, draw a card and add 1 card in your hand to the top of your deck. Cool card. 2 difficulty. 2 difficulty for all it doing is reacting, right? making your opponent not want to stun you. If I have a 2 difficulty that's there to counter stun, it better be canceling the stun. It better be like discouraging a single instance of stun. This, although you could say it does that, my opponent's still going to do that. They're just going to do that, right? And it being a 6 check isn't enough for me. I would have made this a 1-5. So it's not same play, is what I'm saying. This deck gets -2 speed. If it has 3 or more keywords, you get -3 speed instead. I think this one sees play. All just isn't super popular because it's one of those symbols that hadn't been seen for a while. If you block with a non-attack card, it gains Breaker 2. This one I have seen played, right? It's just another version of Keiko's Aid. But it's interesting because Keiko's Aid is better than this card. You can't just chump away a foundation for the breaker. And I guess this one has the 1 mid, but Keiko's has a high block. Like, I think Keiko's is much better than this card, and people don't play Keiko's. But they'll play unarmed non-combatant, which is interesting. Brick Wall, Dex is blocked by this card, cannot be added in momentum this turn. My beloved Fat Gum card did this thing. I like this card. I liked that card. No notes, really. It's just interesting we reprinted it. I guess that it's only been 2 years, or it's been 2 years since then, but this card is committed by a Revel Attack, gain 1 health. This is good. I mean, you know, 0 diff? Like, that's not very good. Dumbfounded, this card ignores progressive. I've seen that in a lot of Earth decks. Hard-headed, clear 1 face down card from your card pool. Yeah. So, it's interesting because hard-headed is, like, it's supposed to be the thing that makes Rocksteady good, right? Because it makes your enhance free. But this existed as a 1 diff with another ability and a better block. So somebody was scared. Somebody was like, that Bakugo card, I forget the name of it, the 1 diff, is just simply too strong. So, like, I get that it's tenacious, but you only have so many 2 difficulty slots in your deck, and oftentimes those are the things that are slotted in for, like, very powerful defense in general, you know? I know people meme about Calvin Tahan, about how, like, 3 difficulties and 1 difficulty is the only ones you can play. That's pretty true. 2 difficulties are a genuine, like, consideration for your deck. If they have to be doing something, like, very powerful or turning off something very powerful on your opponent's side. And this isn't doing that. It's like you want to not have to be you don't want to consider this against something like what's in this deck? Dark Ward, right? Or Disarming Glance. And those are cards that I'm like, I only want to play 1 mana board and play two more sideboard. Heavy Feet, yada yada, horseplay. God. I hate calling our shot. I hate that. It's just not good. It's never been good. Out to Lunch. This attack is -5 damage. Add this to your card pool face down. I feel like this has existed before. It's not good. Debuild yourself for -5 damage. It's like functionally blocking. And I'll tell you why it's not good. This existed on Gateway Shuffle, and it was good because it's from your hand. It was secret knowledge. This one is on your board, so your opponent knows to play around it. And it's debuilding yourself. So, like, in theory, this should be good for, like, a 5-hander. But then they spent a whole deck build slot and a card on their board when they were not building too much, right? So, like, and what ends up happening is this ends up only good in 7-handers who are doing a ton of minus damage. And there's just better options for that don't debuild you to your card pool. They just debuild you, right? They're like, oh, I'll destroy this with Weapon Clash, React, Greater Goal. Maybe in a year or so, when those sets come out, this one could see play, but 3 difficulty is a lot. And, like, you're essentially partial blocking a lot of attacks in the format because they're coming in for 9 to 10 damage anyway. Not great. Not great. It doesn't trigger your destruction enhances. It's not great. It would be great, right? Like, I think this is actually a very reasonable and strong effect. It's saying, hey, I'm partial blocking this, right? Or sometimes better than partial blocking, right? If it's an 8 damage or less move, this is better than a partial block. And I think that's really cool. But the format is accelerated too much to the point where this is just not better than a partial block. Yeah. Sorry, those are my notes. Slow but strong. At the end of your combat phase, add this card to your hand. And especially since also we have a lot of moves that are coming for like 26, right? We've just said, actually, not only is everything 10 damage, some decks are just playing 126 damage move. And -5 does nothing to that. It's negligible. At the end of your combat phase, add this card to your hand from your card pool. It has deflect on it. Add this card to your card pool. This deck is supposed to do -2 damage. So it's deflect from stage. It could have just said you could play the deflect from the board, right? I guess you could combine it with the other one, so it's better than that. I don't know. I know what they were going for with the stuff in your card pool thing, but I think they were cooking too hard with those. After you block with this card, if your rival has 3 or more health, they lose 1 health. Sure. Charismatic approach. Each player searches their deck for more cards. This one is cool. Tutor. I wish it was graveyard. I think this game is naturally inclined towards tutoring from the graveyard. And it's like oxymoronic, because like in Magic, tutor from the graveyard is broken, right? Dredge, all that stuff, and that's where all of our designers are coming from. But tutoring from the graveyard in this game is less powerful than tutoring from the deck, because it requires you to engage with the game. It says we've had probably 2 or more turns. If you want to do it consistently, like yeah, you might get it on turn 1 or 2. If you're lucky, you might get the thing you want to search for your graveyard, or it forces you to play effects that tutor from your deck to shove them into the graveyard, yeah. I know I say this as a guy who's been tutoring from the graveyard pretty much every character that he's ever liked, but that's how I feel about it. I think that tutoring from the deck is very powerful because our game is basically ungated, right? In a lot of other games, right, if you tutor from the deck, you still have to be able to pay for it. But in our game, you can pay for it on any turn. And so I think graveyard's safer. Response commit after your rival blocks with a non-foundation card that doesn't help. I haven't seen charismatic approach in many decks, so that's because evil is not it's not very represented. Not because it's bad. I just think that it's fallen behind other symbols, and this is supposed to like bring it back a little bit. And the cards just don't. They're like. They're interesting. They're not doing anything like super. They're not creating parity yet. We'll see though. Evil is still good. It's just not like death right now. Your attack gets +2 damage, and the ally attack gets 3 damage instead. Whatever. Replicate a series search. Add 1 scheme for your discard pile to your hand. Fill in this plot at the end of your combat phase. Add 1 scheme for your card pile to your hand. Always angry. If this card's removed from your deck or your hand is destroyed, you may try to play it from the roof by game pile. It's non-block. 2 div. Why? Why is this a 2 div with a non-block? Why are we so afraid of a Raphael playing defense? Is there... What? I dream of fighting. This one's the 1 div. Oh, this one's the one. You can find an attack. That's a fucking 1 div. Oh, impulse draw for attack. That's a 1 div. Oh, you trying to play defense though? 2 difficulty. That's a 2 difficulty. Okay, you're trying to play defense. That's illegal. Trying to find an attack. Now we're talking. You're killing your opponent. Build 4 of those on turn 1. Thank you very much. Nice. Stamp of approval. Full focus. Once per turn, tenacious. Discard 1 card. Ready this foundation. Going loud. That's pretty funny. It just goes against what I was talking about. All right, going loud. First enhanced flip. This head gets +2 speed. Okay, so you can't layer them? Why is it a 2 div, bro? Goofing off. Your next check to play a card from your removing game. Whatever, man. I'm awesome. Yeah, you are awesome. You are awesome. +5 damage. Doesn't kill itself. Costs of momentum. Compare this to the Spike attack Spike Foundation from 9 trillion years ago. End the Dream for 4 damage. Cost of momentum, though. You get to be rock steady for a turn. I think it's kind of a cool card. I wish it didn't commit. Reckless Abandon. Tenacious Sacrifice. Add 1 face-up foundation for your... I mean, like once per turn, right? Add 1 face-up foundation. Having +5 damage on every single attack is crazy. Add 1 face-up foundation. I mean, you know, unless you're Rocksteady. Or that new guy who gives 4 damage to every move. Add 1 face-up foundation from your stage to your hand. This is cool. Why is it gotta be face-up? So many regrets. Brotherly Love. Yeah, that one's good for this ability. Because it can be an asset. Daily Trading. I know this one's kind of the new trading method thing. It's in a lot of decks. I think people saw this and they knew it was going to be that thing. Right, they knew it was going to be like new training method. Obviously, it's not quite as good because it doesn't do it the turn you play it down. But yeah, it's certainly very good. And here's the thing. They knew this was going to be good. It has the 3+ block modifier. It's got a 4 check, right? The rest of the set is not tuned to this level. Why? Why isn't everything as useful as daily training is? Is it because they're built for sealed? Bro, no one's playing sealed outside of pre-release weekend. Just put good shit in your set. How big was this set? 186 cards? Make an 80 card set, bro. Get 100 of these cards out of here. I do not care about them. Defend the Innocent. After you block, draw a card. That's a good card. Nice. Extra cheese. I'm sure it's seeing play too. I'm absolutely certain it's seeing play. After this card enters your discard pile from your hand, I want 80 cards like Defend the Innocent. I don't want any 80 draw cards, but I want 80 cards that are this level of like, I want this for my deck. I am excited to put this in my... I'm excited to sleeve this. Because this is like a very specific thing, right? This is a defensive character's thing. So this goes in Midoriya, right? This goes in... Who else has the good symbol as defensive? It goes in Fat Gum. Extra cheese. After this card enters the discard pile from your hand or deck during an attack, will be committed. Sure. Sure. Incremental advantage. This is a fine card. Add 1 weapon asset with difficulty 1 or less for your discard pile to your hand. It gets the little... It gets the assets, right? It gets the assets. If you play... Like, I'm sure that maybe one day this will be insane. Oh, I'll get a breaker 2. It does that already. Okay, whatever. I don't think tuned for that is not, though. If you play this card, game went out. But it's doing everything that I want it to, though. So I think... I actually like that card quite a bit. It's gated nicely, right? It's themed in such a way. I think it could have just grabbed a asset, but it says like it's got 3 gates. He's a weapon. You can only grab an asset. You can only get difficulty 1 or less. So right now you're kind of just like, I'm gonna go get the breaker 2 guy that is a 3+ block, and like it's gated too heavily, too strongly. Is what I'm saying. Please gain 1 health. Actual chaff, garbage, just total garbage. This attack gets +2 speed. If it deals damage, gain 2 health. It says pizza, guys. It can't be bad. It says pizza. He's hungry. Look at his little face. They want pizza. Enhance commit. This attack gets -2 speed. If you have 2 or more pizza cards on your stage, it gets -3 speed instead. Guys, it can't be bad. It says pizza. I like this thing, but like, how many things actually say pizza on them? I love that it's a genuine keyword. Like, I can't actually build a deck around pizza, bros. Like, let's go foundation, asset, backup. Is there a pizza character? Right? Like, you can't... Yes, they all have the good symbol or infinity symbol, but like... It's like... What are you actually doing with this stuff? I can go get more pizza card with my pizza card? That's good thinking. I can give an attack 2 speed. I can give my attack a speed. These do the same thing. I can gain 2 health with my 3 div. This is dog shit, guys. You had a cute idea, and instead of all this, right? What if instead of that, you were going to just eat pizza with your opponent? Right? What if you cooked in a theming way instead of just saying, I'm going to put pizza on cards and pictures that have pizza on the thing? Anyway. All right. I've done it. I've done all the things. Here's what I think about this set. I think it is woefully put between Guilty Gear and 3 Attack on Titan sets. Same as Critical Role. There's like a couple cards that clearly they were like, we need this card to compete with Critical Role. We need to compete with Attack on Titan cards. And then it's like a bunch of like half-baked ideas. I think I wanted it to be full-baked, and I wanted there to be 100 less cards. I know you're thinking, okay, collectors got to find 180 cards, bro. They got to buy. Bro, how big is your game? You're not making money. Okay? So you could just make a good game, right? You could care and you could make a good game, right? So if you made a good game, people would come play it. People like me would be excited to buy boxes too. If every time I opened a pack, I'd be like, yo, I got another copy of this one div. I got another comment, dude. Look at this sick comment. It says, floorbow my opponent for 2. And my opponent would be like, sick, dude, that's awesome. Can you trade me? Can you get me some of those? You know? What if we had good stuff? And it turns out when you draft or you make sealed pools with those 80 good cards, you have good games. Instead of like making a like barely functional draft chaff thing, I get way more excited when I'm playing draft and I can get multiple of the same attack or multiple of the same foundation because I've identified that like the field is a certain way. I think more cards actually make for a less fun draft experience. And playing all the bullshit that gets shoved in these things, like, I don't know. I may be in the most tiny minority, but I wish that we would take the effort made for the 190 trillion cards in these sets, and I put them instead into about 1/3 of that number, and I full-baked 90 cards instead of half-baking 180 of them, right? If I had half of the URs and they were very good, these sets would sell better. These sets would see play. They would be better. I think there's good ideas in here. I think that the theming's kind of bad. I think the characters are by and large fucking terrible. God, man, I cursed a lot in this. I've been trying not to curse as much, but you got me. You got me caring about this Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles thing. I haven't cared about the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles since Secret of the Ooze, probably. And like, I'm not excited. 2 months later, I'm not excited about the set, and that's like, that's sad. I should still be excited about these cards. And I was excited about Critical Role stuff. I thought those cards were really interesting, but similarly, like, it had a lot of half-baked ideas, and I want full-baked ideas. I would like it if instead of each set feeling like somebody's like overworked trying to figure out what's going on, each set felt like 8 people worked together on their thing. But anyway, that's how I feel about it. I think Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was a like very average set. I give it a 5 out of 10. I give it 3 stars out of 5. It like, you know, like it made it across the finish line, but we weren't clapping when it did it. We were like, dude, you know, look at all the guys who finished ahead of you. You did okay. The art's good. The characters look neat. Those backups are just like there, right? They said something needs to be broken in this set, so they printed the backups as the things in the what's the secret rares? They're the secret rares, right? So we had to have something that was actually cooked in half, and we could have had a whole set that was cooked instead of an overbaked secret rare pool and a very poop garbage like regular set with like, I don't know. How many of these cards did I say were like fun and interesting? And I didn't say fun and interesting and bad. Like 7, 8? That's very sad. I would like more of the set to be like exciting and interesting and put into decks. And not because it like we forgot it worked with this character, which is what happened with a lot of this stuff, right? Like Hang 10 is not something that's being used in any characters from this set, right? Like what character in this set is using Hang 10, right? Which character is putting that much speed onto it, right? They just don't exist. Nobody's putting incremental speed onto things. So it's a card explicitly printed for older things? That doesn't seem interesting to me. That doesn't seem fun to me. It's not like it's part of a kit. It's just like, Hang 10, here's my stupid card. Haha. Where's my fun cards? More fun cards that work with the set. That work with the set. I think Hint Think's a fun card, is what it's worth. I just think that it should have been a fun card that like made sense with the set within the context that it's printed it. I guess it is. It does make sense with the context it's printed in the greater scope of the game. But like in the set itself, I would like there to be like a competitive and fun and interesting Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles characters that isn't just like abusing the assets that exist. Okay, I'm done. I hope you guys enjoyed. All two of the people who will watch this video, and I think I will be doing this in the preview season for each set. So whatever comes in after Guilty Gear, I will probably talk about Guilty Gear at that time because I think a retrospective on the last set's cards is cool. And I'll see you guys at the events for this year.